Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another setup session here at Coach Dave Academy. We're just about wrapping up the BMW GT4 as part of the GT4 update series. This is the last setup that we'll be doing for this car, and we've chosen Watkins Glen to be the track. I'm Sai. We've got Hubert who'll be driving today. Mike is taking care of broadcast, and yeah, let's see if we can wrap up this car on a high note. So let's go ahead, Hubert. Let's jump straight into it.
I'm just checking the fuel level. I think that's fine. Oh yeah, because it's newer base. I had to lift, and again, that's how much grip there is on blue tires. But having blankets is quite an experience on outlooks.
Yeah, there are not many places where you can really heat up the tires properly either around here. It might take a couple of laps to get it up to temp. Especially those of you who have tried out some of the M4 setups that have been released last week as part of the pre-release, you'll notice that it's actually really it has like a really small working range. A lot of these setups have very similar characteristics because there's really only one small working window where it's able to perform really well on high speed and not lock up too much. One of the main differences that you notice between some of the older setups, especially the ones that were released when the American DLC first came out, and the current setup is the current set is that the diff preload is a lot lower. So that's one of the interesting things about this car, and you see that with other front engine cars is you really have to tweak the diff to quite a low setting for certain fuel loads in order to really get it to work without like locking up. Particularly for the GT4 experience, we've seen that these cars tend to lock up a lot more than the GT3s. So should be interesting here. Got a pretty heavy braking zone at the end of the main straight as well, and it's downhill.
And it's downhill, exactly.
And I mean, if you really push the car in the final sector, the tire is also going to be quite hot as you come out of the right-hander. Yeah, that corner and the left-hander after this up corner are going to be heavily dependent on the diff, I think. Because if you go too high, it'll snap midway, but if you go too low, it'll slide on the curb. I would presume you need pretty low diff for these type of corners. The high
it's a lot of calls as well.
Yeah,
really lower break through these, so we're getting a lot of understeer right now, although I'm not sure what's the current preload.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, it's like tracks like Brands, Laguna, tracks that have a lot of 90-degree, like sharp 90-degree corners. That's where we've been trying to use as low diff as we can, just so that it really pitches in. Then you control the pitch with the the rear rebound and also increase the rear bump so you don't get the understeer and exit. Sort of been a general approach. Get the patch notes as well. But yeah, every track obviously is slightly different in some of their requirements.
Actually bounces through the chicane. I don't know how soft the damping is on the front. But after hitting the curb, you can see it bounce like once or twice.
It's relatively soft, yeah. But I mean, this combination worked at Zolder, so, you know. And the chicane here at Watkins is much more forgiving than the one at Zolder. How does the braking feel right now?
I think it's quite stable, quite understeery on entry.
Yep.
Both entry and mid corner, it feels like understeer, like more rotation, but I do get some oversteer on exits. Especially tighter exits in sector 3. And this is not enough rotation.
So which are the exits where you're getting oversteer? Is it on the final sector?
Yeah. From like this up to right, the hairpin onward.
Yep.
Yeah, it steps up twice. Pretty late on. Yeah, I think because of the understeer I need to steer in a lot with the front tires, and then when I get on power, it's a bit too much to really floor it and get traction.
Yeah, I'm suspecting the understeer is because of the rake of the car right now, which is not really the right window. And then we've got your oversteer. It's just, I mean, it's quite standard around here. It's more, it's exaggerated more on this track than others.
Yeah, I think it's also the steering, how much I need to steer.
But I think to fix that, if we drop the rear bump stop rate, that's gonna probably ease it up a bit. I would suggest like dropping it 3 clicks.
Okay.
And then maybe obviously drop the front ride height 2 clicks. Raise the rear 2 clicks. So that's gonna get entry pretty good. That oversteer that you're having in the third sector, is it on curbs, or is it happening like mid corner as you change the as you go over the camber change?
Over the camber change, yeah. I'm not touching the curbs really. The
Okay.
inside.
Yeah. That case, let's also drop the diff 1 click. Yeah, I'll start with this. We definitely need to do some things on the dampers, but
Okay.
we'll just see if this. Mainly, we want to look at whether this has solved the entry problems.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a reference, the old time is a 55.2.
That's full tank though, so
I need to double check that, yeah.
yeah.
Because I remember there was probably one change we had to do. Yeah. Looking at that delta, I would say we'd need another couple of and be on pace. Then let me just check what the Porsche did out here. .54.5. And 4/10 delta between the old times in quali. I usually quali delta is bigger than race, so yeah. I'm gonna look for like a 0.8 or a 0.7.
Jeez. Almost drove into a wall there. Yeah, it feels like she's still understeering.
Okay.
And mid corner.
Like, is there any change or is it?
Yeah. No, it is better.
Okay.
Also the exits are better. But
yeah,
just,
that's good.
yeah, I feel like we're not quite there yet. We need a bit more. But also like more rotation on entry, I can go in with wider line, get a straighter exit. That will also help. The traction.
I mean, we could drop the diff one more click. Obviously, that's going to give you a lot of understeer mid corner onwards. So
Yeah.
Yeah, lower diff, higher ride height. It's going to give you rotation. It's going to give you a decent amount of rotation mid corner. It's going to make your entry a lot more aggressive. So that's also another thing that we can do.
I don't know if I like the toe in the front. Like starts like gripping initially, but then I don't know. We're just losing the grip on the front. It's like an inconsistent feeling. I don't know. It turns in, but then washes wide.
Let's try to solve it without touching the toe first, because the toe shouldn't be causing too much of an issue.
Okay.
Unless it's particularly hitting curbs where it's causing a problem. So I would say let's drop the diff one more click.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll raise the rear ride height 3 clicks.
Mm-hmm.
Also go up on the actually no, just that. Yeah, let's just do the ride height and the diff to start with.
Okay.
Because I was thinking of playing around with the bump stops as well. Guess we'll first just try the diff, the ride height to begin with.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you can somehow check. This is the steer ratio we usually use on this car.
I will check that. I guess because it changes driver to driver, right?
Yeah, I didn't resolve there, so I feel like it might be a click higher.
For Monza, you used steer ratio 1 click lower than this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because the steer ratio kind of feels like a dead zone in the middle, that's why.
That was a good lap.
Yeah, the balance is definitely there, with like entry and exit rotation, so you can be smooth with it. Yeah, but it's getting actually quite aggressive on entry. Like if I went deep in one of the corners, I did hear the rear sliding out.
Yeah.
So we are close to the limit now.
Got the impression that you're compromising entry for better exit. But I also thought that might just be because taking that line, which was working. But you ran wide in the next corner, right? Remember?
Yeah. That's where I heard the lockup.
Yeah. It's funny the yaw didn't actually look too bad, so it was quite interesting. But if the balance,
exit was good.
Yeah, exit was really good because that's like a corner where cars are notorious for running wide at that corner. The corner is just extremely tight, the exit, for most cars. More so for front end. But if the balance is definitely getting in the right window, then perhaps we could look at the data what the dampers are like. Then definitely we'll need to just change some things on that to get it working a little better. So I feel like the dampers we have on the space line is a bit too, like they're slightly too soft for this track. Like the car looks a bit lazy.
Yeah, especially in the chicane and after. I feel like it's bouncing after the chicane, but it should be setting a bit quicker to enter into the next corner. I really don't like the steer ratio.
Yeah, I guess you can box it.
Trying to deal with it. Okay. Okay. Send you the Multic.
Especially when it's so prone to understeer when you steer it too much. Having the wrong steer ratio catches you off guard.
Yeah, because the corrections also are difficult when it feels a bit dead in the middle with the force feedback. And also the initial turn in as well.
Yeah.
Okay, sent you the files.
Could probably decrease the front bump stop range a bit because honestly it's not engaging at all around here. And you probably don't need that much either. That's probably what's causing your entry aggression. So I guess I can drop that. Just double checking. 7 to 8 clicks. We'll start with 5 clicks and then we'll see how much more we can go.
Okay.
5 clicks down front. Then the next after this run, I'll see it again to see what the bump stop force channel is showing. The rears. How did the rears feel on the chicane?
I guess fine because I didn't even really pay attention to them or notice anything from the back.
Okay.
It was more on the front. Or everything on the front, yeah, basically.
Okay, I'm curious to see what the old damper configuration for Watkins does on this. So if we could go, so 4 clicks up on the rear bump. 3 clicks up on the rear rebound.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to still keep it bump biased on the rear, which is fine. Then let me quickly check for the front. Sorry, just checking one thing for the front. See what we did before. So we're significantly softer on the front bump in this setup, and it shows on the data because it's rebound bias on the front. Since we have a lower range, we anyways need to go up on the bump so it doesn't hit it too hard. So I would say go up like 5 clicks on the front bump.
Okay.
It's still going to be softer than our original Watkins setup, but I guess
Mm-hmm.
that'll maintain the aggression. Um, and let's not touch the rebound because we've gone pretty high on the rear bump, so I think the balance should be fine. So let's try
Okay.
this.
Okay.
It's interesting when we don't have the fast damping to play with. Like when it's just locked to slow down or the base damping, it's
Yeah, for curbs, not ideal to adjust
yeah.
it.
Yeah, so we need to really like play around with the bump stop rate. It's really the only thing you can control because the dampers are more of like an aero, slightly also includes mechanical balance, especially for GT4s, but it's more of an aero device for pitch control. So if we use the dampers to fix the curves, then it throws the car off everywhere else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense with the sort of low diff we're using right now. We need pretty stiff front dampers to prevent the car from snapping.
That was a GT3 breaking point for the chicane. Not ideal.
Okay, one more thing I've seen in the data is the brakes are not, they're kind of cold. I would say cold. They're not really reaching their limit. But it's probably not a good idea to close them because the tires are also getting quite hot.
Yeah.
especially the left side tires, because it's. I think yeah, it's mainly because of that long right-hander after the chicane.
Oh, that's so loud. I think it's much better on brakes actually, more stable, the front bump.
Okay. Yeah, it's a combination of that and the damping to prevent it from basically like just hitting the bump stop and rebounding. So unfortunately, we can't control that without using fast dampers and without affecting the rest of the car. I mean, that also explains a little, like the fact that the histogram also has like a pretty sharp step on the front rebound. So it's like it's bordering the fast rebound area basically.
Okay. Yeah, this felt definitely safer on entries. The exits are also good. It's just that chicane into the right-hander, the bus stop into the right-hander hard.
Yeah.
It's so slow. That's why I'm thinking how much rotation would front roll bar cost, you know? Because I think that would make it a bit quicker.
Did you find the response to be a little better with these changes that we made?
Yeah, it's definitely better for the chicane because it just doesn't have that bounce after hitting curb. So yeah, definitely, because before it was like lifting and you could just see the car skipping over, losing traction, gaining traction as it bounces.
Okay. Um,
Now, that's not happening anymore.
and how's the exit rotation right now on high speed? That long right hander after the chicane, basically.
Uh, I think I still have to wait quite long, but I think it's close to where I would like it to be.
Then I think instead of the ARB, another solution would be to stiffen the front damping even more, bump and rebound, because that's going to prevent excessive roll, which will increase your response. And the stiffer rebound will just make sure that the car rotates even better when you get on throttle.
Yeah. Okay.
But could you just quickly check the? I could just see the data for this run again.
Mm-hmm.
Just know if you're on the right track. Yeah, definitely not changing on percentages, but it's definitely looking a little better. The shape. It's just that rebound. That's like a weird step on the rebound, which is what's biasing it more that side. Um, Actually, wait. Let me check the bump stops too. Yeah, just about hitting the front bump stop. There's a bit of force activating. A
Okay.
bit of, and it's happening the entry of the bus stop.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, wait. It's actually kind of interesting. I want to just see what dampers look like between those two. So the step has gotten worse. Okay, this is a sign we need to increase the front stiffness on both ends, both the front bump and rebound. Just give me a second. Let me just have a look. Okay. Um, let's do front bump 5 clicks up.
You already went two, right? Two up, bump and rebound. So you're going 5 more on top of that.
5 more on the setup that you just drove, basically. Yep.
Okay, but I already went two up, right? I think maybe not.
Wait. Otherwise, I'll just send you the
No, 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 no,
values.
no. Yeah.
Just
I
to
think
double check.
we didn't actually make any changes. I think I'm thinking about last time. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
okay. So 5 up on
5
bump.
up front bump. Yep. Uh, uh, think I missed a step in the middle. Are we we're 5 down right on the front range from what we started with?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I forgot to update that there because I've saved that. Just thinking this through. There's no traction issues at all.
No.
Yep. Um, okay, let's just try the 5 clicks on the front bump to start with.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
no other change. Interestingly enough, we're getting close to the stiffness values we had for the original Watkins setup.
Okay.
Not quite the same, but we're getting close to that range. So yeah, actually the main difference is how much we've adjusted the diff, really, the diff and ride height combo. Yeah, and the toe, of course. Yeah, I think that's the main highlight for our viewers, especially for the BMW update. Also a little bit for the Porsche, if I'm not mistaken. The differential preload has been a bit of an eye-opener in the way that you can use it to control the amount the car is locking up. So when when you see setups for race and for quali, for example, especially in the BMW, you will see some changes in the differential because of how much weight there is on the front end of the car. When you remove fuel, it determines how much how much weight the front has, how much percentage of the total weight the front has compared to the rear, and it really affects the braking ability. Because the brakes on particularly GT4s seem to be very sensitive to locking up. It's paramount that you control it with the differential. Changing the brake bias can help, but it's again just gonna mess with the way you brake into the corner. So the takeaway is, if you want to have the same type of braking style or the braking performance that you're used to with the race setup, in the quali setup you need to layer on a little bit of the differential. So we dive into the patch notes. There'll be more details and information regarding what exactly we have changed. There's the release notes, not the patch notes, the release notes that are there on the website. Those will have some more details regarding the same.
It feels good, especially in turn 1 now, but I lost too much entry rotation with such stiff front now. Yeah, the right-hander after bus up I have to wait super long, especially, and also the next left, yeah, just does not turn in.
Okay. Can we go 3 clicks down on the front pump? Try that.
Unless 3 down. Yeah, I was thinking like maybe something like softening rebound or something, not to affect the
Yeah,
front.
I was thinking the same, but look at the histogram, it's already heavily bump biased. And I feel like
Okay.
if we do that anymore, it's going to throw the car completely off in the third sector.
Okay.
Wait, what? We just double check. 3, 2. Actually, I think we only need 2 down on the front bump. 3 might be too much. So I want effectively 2. I want it to be effectively 3 up from the previous setup, just so there's more of a change in this direction. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully that would be the optimal compromise.
Yeah,
one
that's
and a half,
cool.
1.5 tenths, not bad. The, all 3 laps roughly.
And it felt like, yeah, balanced and close to the limit, because I did have a small lockup in T1 on the last last lap. They braked a bit late. I had to go deeper, and yeah, actually started. I mean, I heard the lockup. It's not like it will snap on the brakes, but you will hear it, and you have to be careful while not also coming off the brakes so you don't snap the
Yep.
rear.
The car looks very stiff roll wise. It looks like it's not rolling much. It's got
Yeah,
something that's preventing it from rolling too fast or too much or too fast. More about the speed, which kind of makes sense looking at how stiff the dampers have become now.
yeah, but it also made it so much easier on the exits in last sector. The stiffness, yeah,
Yeah,
on the front.
yeah. That last sector is very risky, right? If you have a car that's too lazy, you're gonna go straight into the wall. And
Yeah,
if you have a car that's way too stiff, then if you throw it in too quickly, you will saturate the tires too quickly and again hit the wall. So yeah, it's an interesting compromise to say the least. Yeah, I mean that looked good. Overall, it looks very stable everywhere. To be on rails, just it's like it sticks to the grooves of the track, which is good. So yeah, I think we can save
no,
that.
okay. I mean, I can send you the data from that if you want to see, maybe come up with something for the safe.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely check that. It's just for this track, right? And even other tracks. Like I always like taking Laguna and Brands also as examples because these tracks have such small margins for error on the exit that once you get the car in a certain window, making a safe setup is quite challenging because you need it to be more safe, but at the same time, it shouldn't really, you know, induce any extra understeer.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So honestly, what I would think, usually for safe, I would say we add some diff, but I don't think it's gonna work around here because of that off-cambered section. Um, so I would probably actually stiffen maybe the rear rebound and the front bump a bit more as an alternative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wait one sec. I think I have to restart my game. The some over. Yeah, it's hung. Let me restart that. Yeah,
Okay.
meanwhile, I'll just check the dampers and I'll let you know. And then while I you could try the new run. Yeah, I mean dampers. It still has that little bump there, but the numbers are a bit more balanced, which is good. Um, could still definitely do with more front bump, but it's gonna be slow if we do that based on what was done the previous one. So I
Mm-hmm.
would say just stiffen up the rear rebound. Um, 3 4 clicks maybe to start with.
Okay, 4.
Yeah, I guess we'll just say we'll start with that, and then we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Yeah, the entries are so easy, which I really like actually, because it's like the main point of the lap, especially in a race. As you get tired, where you do not want to start sliding on entries, and yeah, with this, it's so easy to control. It's so easy to get off the brakes. If you go deeper, it's also not a problem. Maybe even gain time, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and since it's like the only thing we change, you still get the same exit, you know. It's like easier
Yeah.
entry. It's kind of the
Essentially.
same exit.
Yeah, but obviously because it's not pitching as much, your
There's less
braking
rotation.
distances.
Yeah.
Yeah, the braking distance is increasing a bit because you're not able to throw the car in quickly.
Yeah,
Not really
exactly.
the braking distance. Like technically, it shouldn't increase too much, but it's you're getting that feeling because you have to brake differently to get the same entry rotation.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, it's very forgiving on the curbs, right? Or do you like it to be a bit more safe for the safe setup? How does it feel?
Nah, the M4, I think, yeah, it's really
It
stable.
just
Even if it
runs away.
bounces like up and down, then yeah, you can still control the line.
Yeah,
Especially with the stiffer dampers that we made. Yeah, for sure. It's
yeah.
easy.
Definitely one of the tracks where the stiffer dampers working well because there are tracks where we've had really soft dampers as well working. Um, and for
Yeah.
example, this older setup that we started with for this as a baseline, this older setup has quite soft damping. Interestingly enough, that works. Um, the reason why it was that soft, I'm pretty sure, is because when we were testing it through the first few corners, those are extremely tight, pretty similar to the corners you have at Watkins Glen. I think they're slightly faster as well, which means you need the aero to be even more aggressive through that.
Mm-hmm.
But then you need the low ride height because of the bad traction on the other parts of the track. Anyways, yeah, we're getting sidetracked. Yeah, this looked good for the safe set.
Okay.
Um,
Let's save it.
yeah, definitely
Um,
suited.
oh, I can send you the setups. Actually, I already sent you the Motec from the fast run.
Yeah, I've got the fast run Motec, the safe run, and the setup with the pressures, and yeah, then we can look at quali. If you like the general balance of the car, there's one thing we can do for quali that won't actually affect the rest of the car too much. Uh, is just stiffen the front rebound because that's going to hold weight on the front more, which you need for quali. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just because the car tends to understeer when you remove that fuel.
Yeah. Yeah. I was also thinking about some like aero and preload combo, but I think the rebound might do the same job really.
Actually, a good idea, good point. The preload as well, because something we need to do is increase it for quali.
Yeah. Usually, yeah.
Let's do 2 clicks on the preload. We wouldn't need too much on the rebound if that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
One, three. Let's do 3 clicks on the front rebound. So really get that rotation in. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a couple of clicks on 2 clicks on the diff. And since that might be a little aggressive, I'd say drop the ride height just 1 click on the rear, maybe 1 or 2 clicks. Or or if you want, you can try it with this ride height and see how bad it is, and then we can change.
Okay,
I
I'll
feel like
keep
this
it then.
is yeah. I feel like this is going to leave the rear too stiff without enough mechanical grip to, or without enough load to for that the stiffness.
Hey, yeah. Let's find out then.
Yep. So it's like there are two paradoxes running on when you're doing a setup like that because you've got a lot of weight on one side of the car, so you need to stiffen that side of the car to sustain that weight, especially when it's going over curbs or bumps or changing directions, and to prevent too much roll. But if there's more mass on the front of the vehicle, the front tires get used more, which means, contrary to what you'd think, the front understeers, even though there's more load on it. Then you need more aero as well. So the problem is, if you have a front engine car, you have to stiffen the front and add more aero to the front, which means you're definitely going to shred the front tires quicker.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, I just forgot to take out fuel, so I'm back in the pits.
Luckily though, when you burn that fuel, the rear does raise, rear ride height does raise up because the fuel is going away. So it naturally goes up a bit, which means aero gets biased forwards naturally. So in a way, it balances it out. But I would say probably more mid-engine is ideal. Front is a close second in that.
Yeah, I mean, mid actually gets more aggressive as you wear
It does.
tires.
I mean, yeah, it's all relative to how much
you wear the fronts and rear tires.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you compare like two front engine cars, like the Merc and the BMW, based on which one has more front tire, based on what has more front tire usage, there'll be like differences there.
Yeah.
Then you have other factors like how much torque each vehicle has, how slippery the rear end is on traction. It's very interesting, the entire landscape of different combinations you can use.
I don't know, maybe we could have gotten away with a kick down on ducts before.
I will double check, but I mean, we were kind of on the edge with the temps before as well.
Yeah, it depends. Ducts doesn't really influence the temps that much at this point. It's always cold anyway.
Maybe the rears get away with heating up the rears a bit more. About 4 to 5 degrees cooler on the temps on the tires, but a good well over 100 degrees difference in maximum temps on the brakes. So yeah, I guess the rear brake duct can be closed. Wouldn't touch the front though.
Okay.
Quite hot on the front tire.
I feel like I could use a lot more entry rotation. I feel like the rear is not going. The front actually wants to turn in, but the rear is not quite going.
Yep. Yeah, so either way, we'll have to go up with the right height then, looks like. Despite doing the other two changes. The brakes are not, the rear's not locking up, right, when you go into corners?
No. I might double check the pressures.
Fifty 53.6 is the Porsche pace. So if you're about 3-4 tenths off, we need to target like a low 54. So we're only 3 tenths up on that lap, and then if you get even more performance, it could be possible.
Mm-hmm.
The right height change, performance of the car will improve. Yeah, let's do 2 clicks on the right height and then close the rear brake ducts 1 click.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, like 4 tenths on that. So should be even more. I mean, I feel like it could be way more because it's really slow on entry.
And we break into the 53s, that'll be awesome because the Porsche is quite strong here. It's a track that suits its performance, its characteristics.
Okay, I feel like I still have good exit grip, but not so good on the entries anymore, actually.
Okay. I was just typing out the notes. So what did you say again? Not enough grip on the exits, right?
No, that I have good exit grip
have
actually still. Yeah, but entries are getting a bit sketchier where I'm filling lockups off camber corners.
Lockups and off camber. Okay.
Yeah.
So is it that like that uphill right-hander after you have the long downhill left
No. It's
to the
actually
wing section?
the first corner of last sector, the right-hander, where it's like dipping as you enter.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
The
and there,
entering the boot, right? Or exiting the boot rather.
yeah.
Interesting. Uh, Could we try a lower bump stop range on the front, maybe? Just get that like 5 clicks down, perhaps. Just,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because that might will definitely prevent the car from pitching too much. Because I still think we need to keep that high if on the rear. This might keep the rear loaded as you go into it.
Mm-hmm.
It should help, yeah, because it's a very small amount of bump stop engagement on Motec in the other setups. So this might just increase it slightly, like, and the bump stop force is not that high.
Okay. Oh, we got 0.2. Okay. I didn't actually look what time I had. At 30 it will be rough.
Yeah, if we can drop maybe like 2 more tenths, it'd be good. Yeah, the 0.2 is good. I noticed that when you did the lap. And it's all purple, obviously. But, definitely a bit more potential.
So,
Oh, sorry, I glitched out for a second. So like there's like a stability issue on my connection. Should stabilize soon.
yeah, we're good on the outlook before I already had on the outlook as well.
Okay. So you said the previous time when the car felt good, the outlap got good.
Yeah, the lockup happened already on the outlook last time, now didn't.
Yeah, that's good.
slightly off the line where there's no rubber and get more grip. That's how most of the American DLC is. Okay. I don't know. Delta was so weird. It says like new personal best, but then takes
Exactly.
the old
Exactly.
Delta. Okay.
I mean, yeah, the sector times are very close. So yeah, I don't think that's it's
Just that one could
both are
that
the same.
uphill hairpin where I'm losing the Delta compared to the previous fastest.
Okay.
Um, but that's just like a matter of line, really. Apart from that, it's better.
Yeah, overall, if the car feels good, then yeah, it's definitely good.
I would only try. I feel like there's like a marginal rear grip. We're not quite maxing out. I would maybe go like on rear bump or something. Keep it a bit more up.
So you have more. Basically, say you have more enough traction at the moment.
Yeah, I feel like yeah.
Yeah. Let's go up to maybe 3 clicks if you want. Like, I'd suggest 2 clicks to start with. Because if you're losing time on that uphill corner, then it's
It's entry though
most
and middle.
not so
Yeah,
much an entry. Okay.
yeah.
Just out of curiosity, how are the curbs right now?
I mean, quite easy because I think I have good turn and I can turn in later, get a better line. I don't have to cut so much. And make it a straight line. Yeah, I can go a bit more around. Yeah, take less and maintain speed. So yeah, really not a problem in the bus stop at the moment.
It's worth maybe softening the front pump stop rate if that's the case
Okay.
by 2 clicks as well. So down on the front bump stop rate by 2 clicks, and then up on the rear bump stop rate by 2 clicks.
Up on the rear right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll try that.
We didn't change the damping, right? The bump there.
No,
Okay.
don't
Okay.
think we
Okay.
did. From what I
Okay.
remember.
Okay.
No.
Wait, I actually had super low pressure. For some reason. Real left, but I don't know if you can even get a puncture. Still puncture on this truck. It was like 3 or 4 tenths lower than before.
This could have happened from the chicane, but if you say it feels fine on the chicane, there's no real reason for that to happen. Like sometimes if you hit a curb really hard, you feel it, you know for a fact that it's no pump. But
Oh, that I don't think that's gonna be good with this run up. Let's see. It's probably like a 10 down. I don't know why I feel more understeer sometimes. Which is weird.
Shouldn't be happening with the
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know if I'm using the tires so much, but more and more understeer maybe as the laps go as well. I just burn the surface of the tire. Okay. Yeah, definitely feels like it just gets worse quickly. Like I'm using the front left a lot.
But as a one-shot quali run, I think it's still good pace to have a 0.1.
Yeah, that point one was good. There was only like one deep corner. The rest was, I think, really good on that lap.
Yeah, and then the purple sectors, the third sector is not too far away from the purple anyways. So
Yeah, and it was that third sector.
it has, yeah, because with the has a potential for like a 0.3, so I think that way it's still good.
Yeah, the setup is good. Yeah, I'm thinking because again, it's no understeer, which is a bit weird on entry, and like high
Yeah,
speed mid corner, not so much low.
try increasing the front range a few clicks, 2 or 3 clicks
Okay, I'll
should help.
save it as save this setup.
Yeah,
And what, go 5 up again on the range, front
no,
range?
not 5. That'd be too much. Say like
Okay.
2 or 3 probably.
Yeah, try 3. Okay. Yeah. Like it felt really, really good at that first and second lap, but third was just a bit dead on the front already. Okay, pushed
Or
it.
actually, instead of the range, obviously the range is gonna affect it a lot downhill. Why don't we instead soften the front bump damping?
Okay.
This with the respect to the fast setup, then it could go 2 or 3 clicks down. I'd say go 3 clicks because the front damping is going to be less sensitive than the bump stop, I think.
Okay. It's like identical. There's only that bit of time in last sector, in that one corner, but rest is just identical pretty much. And
Yeah,
I'm
do you
actually
feel
getting
it's do
I'm
you feel
actually
it's
getting like
more?
traction issues in that uphill hairpin on the exit now. So
Okay.
I've been losing there on that exit pretty much every lap. And yeah, rest was quite the same. Yeah, but I think that point one was nice.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a good compromise. The point one.
Yeah, like I thought I had a lot of like understeer and stuff, but now we're just even with the changes on the front, we're getting into oversteer, on
Yeah,
exits.
I think it's just a good balance where it was. I think the safe
Yeah.
setup looked actually even the fast and the safe both looked ultra stable. Um, it's about as stable as I think we've seen the car across the board.
Yeah.
It's definitely those
Yeah.
are like the starting points for the quali run. But it just looks like with the lower fuel, the cars maybe not just it's really not perfectly balanced. Um, but it's always tricky with quali. We've seen this in other tracks as well for the same car. Uh, Maybe like the last thing we could try is perhaps either more front range or more rear ride height. But if the bump damping didn't work, if controlling the front pitch is not the solution, then it would just be to add a click of rear ride height. Downside again is it's gonna cost you traction in certain parts.
We went down 3 clicks in front bump.
Yeah, we did. We went down 3 clicks. No, I think four, 3 or 4. Yeah,
No, I
I
think
would
3.
suggest actually go up 4, but add a click
Okay.
of ride height. See if that works.
Okay.
As we like the, I will test this, and if it doesn't work, then we can just confirm that the point one was the best balance for the car. I just never expected the dampers to be that sensitive on pitch, especially when there's a lot less actual load transfer happening because the car is lighter. Like the front end has relatively more load than the rear to begin with, looking at the weight distribution. So I didn't expect the damper change to be that sensitive. So
Yeah, I don't know why it's so sensitive, but this is just all understeer on entry and oversteer on exit actually. Not really balanced.
Interesting that it's understeering on entry, even though we're only one click higher on the front bump compared to race.
Yeah. In race fast, I actually ended up using lower brake bias to have a bit more turn on the brakes. Less weight, but yeah. Like this, it's not really working.
Yep. I'm pretty sure it's not the diff either, because it could be the diff, but then again, if you floor it on throttle, it should, if this is the case, it should just snap, but it's not. It's still pushing.
No, yeah,
So
it's
it's
not
not
the
the higher
diff.
diff. Yep. Yeah, in that case, let's just take the one that you did the 0.7 with, and that's the optimal compromise.
Yeah, the optimal compromise. Exactly. Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, this felt the best for sure. I think with the softer front dumping, we were just putting so much load on the outside left front tire that it was just burning after 2 laps.
Yep.
And yeah, anything stiffer than we were, just a bit too much understeer, it loses the balance. That was so nice.
Yep.
Okay, so I see I named these wrong, I guess, because
Nah,
it's
that's fine.
O2, right?
I'll just, yeah, it's O2. Yeah, I'll just, I've
Yeah.
renamed it for the race, so it's fine.
Okay. Okay. Send the files.
Cool. I'll just quickly trim those and upload it. Just give me a sec.
I'm gonna close out the stream.
Yeah, just yeah. Meanwhile, you have any driving tips for this lap particularly?
Driving tips. I think there are a couple corners that are important to turn in quite late and get the straighter exit. I think that was the case actually for most of the tracks in the BMW. So if you read the release notes, you might find it there as well. But for example, even on the bus stop entry, like brake at the 300 mark, I guess it's feet in America. Yeah, brake there. Make sure you turn in late, because if you're gonna cut too much of the first one, go too much in a straight line, then you'll cut too much of the second curb, and you'll start bouncing. You will start bouncing, lose control of the car. Yeah, and lose the rotation actually, because you won't have all the grip on the front anymore. Yeah, apart from that, at the end of sector 2, the uphill hairpin is very important to actually let it go deep. You can coast through there just to let it go a bit deeper and let it rotate. So make sure that you really have all the grip, that you have your wheel quite straight as you exit, because yeah, you will need all the grip that you can give to the rear tires really. Otherwise, it's such a long exit that you might be catching oversteer, and you might have to correct the rear very, very late into the exit. So yeah, it's best to make it as straight as possible. Yeah, the rest was quite easy. I think we made these setups quite balanced, off throttle, on throttle, like entry and exit. So it's easy. to predict what's car gonna do. You know when to go on throttle so you don't drive into a wall out of the last corner. You know, yeah. So those are main things, like bus stop entry, that uphill hairpin. I think most technical for this car, most problematic. Yeah, that would be it.
Yeah, it seems like that traction compromise is something that you'll all observe when you look at the different setups in all of the tracks. Major change, like you see in the notes, is just the diff is almost completely on the other end. Like it's a lot more open. The preload is a lot less, so the diff is basically a lot more open on coast, not as closed as before, which means that you're going to have a lot better control on entry. But like we said, it's also for the sake of the braking stability. Then if you see all the other changes in the setups for the M4, it's just the dampers again complementing that. It's also a similar case to the Porsche. If you look at the Porsche Cayman setups, they have a similar trend in that we've softened it up a lot, but at the same time we've tried to stiffen the rear end of the car to maximize rotation. That seems to be what's working generally. And these are also detailed in the release notes. So do have a look at that. But on that note, thank you all for joining us for the stream today. That this wraps off the BMW M4 GT4. We'll be starting off with the Mercedes AMG GT4, and followed by that and following that would be the Aston. And we will be working on the Mercedes next in the next stream. So stay tuned. If you're interested in checking out these setups, go to coachdaveacademy.com. You'll get all the various purchasing options over there. Also, join in on the Discord discussion. There's a lot of discussions going on there, and you also get an idea of what the release schedule is like. But yeah, on that note, once again, thank you all for joining us, and we'll catch up with you all next time.
Yeah, thank you guys. See you in the next one.